laini ya kuzenge ito ko asuli ngate ni
People power. Our power. Our power. People power. Let's kindly sing the national anthem. Oh, Uganda, may God uphold thee. We lay our future in thy hand. United, free for liberty, together we'll always stand. Let me invite Mrs. Semopo to lead us in an opening prayer.
Dear Father, our Creator, I'd like to thank you for this day. It has been a very long journey since we began the campaigns, and here we are, still fighting to make our country better. We need your presence. We need your strength. We've passed through a lot. We've lost our brothers and sisters along the way, but we are still alive for a purpose, and a good purpose for our country. Dear Lord, come and install sobriety among those in power today, who understand that Uganda was there before, it is here today and tomorrow. Dear Lord, come and install the strength that we need more than before. There are so many tribulations, there are so many torments from all corners. There is lack of understanding and lack of foresight among the people in power today. They do not understand that the country is for all of us. They do not understand that Uganda needs a better future for everyone. Father, here we are. We are the chosen ones to be the example and to lead the cause for the whole country. Father, be there. Lead every step that we are taking. We are in the courts of law. Father, be there. May your presence and might be seen. We are to win this case because you are there and you are leading us. Amen. Father, may you instill all the strength, take away all the fear out of our hearts, and majorly out of the heart of our president. For we are sure he won. Father, you are sure and you know this, that Robert Kyagulanyi Sentamu is the winner of the election in Uganda. Father, you are sure of this and you know this. May you please bring it to fruition. Father, nothing more we are asking for but your presence in every step. Our brothers and sisters are still in the prisons, Chigo, Chitaria, and even unknown places. Even those we don't know that they are incarcerated. Father, come forth. We need them back. Their people need them. Their children, wives, husbands, name it. Uganda needs them back. They need their freedom. Father, we are not resting. Father, we are not at peace because our brothers and sisters are not with us. And they are there because they were fighting for their country. Uganda is for all of us. Father, nothing more we can ask for but your presence, and to make us see where our toil, our strength, our energy, where our sweat, where we've planted a good seed, may we see good fruition. In the mighty name of your goodness and your presence, be among us, and we see that. Thank you, Father. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Pastor Mrs. Oh, your you're really very disciplined people. You are waiting for me to tell you to sit, so you can't sit. Mr. President and team, you can't sit. I want to tilt this a little bit. Will I disorganize you people? So, a bit like this. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you. Once again, good morning. We apologize for starting late. We should have started much earlier than this. But, let's move as quickly as we possibly can. Today we are delighted that, one, we are hosting a special group of people. The comrades that are here, majority of them, there's a few of course that are part of party leadership and so on, but majority of the people that we have here are flag bearers for different positions, MP, LC5 chairperson, etc., etc. And many of them were actually rigged, in this election that just happened. And we want to do everything possible to see to it that the victory of our colleagues gets to be redeemed. So, yes, they were not declared winners in this election for various reasons. Like I'm saying, a good number of them were robbed of their victory, but we are doing everything possible to see that that victory is redeemed. Nonetheless, I thought it important to connect with you good people, because you are our party flag bearers, your party members, and it was very important that our team leader gets to connect with you people, for you to know that this is still home and the struggle continues. That's very important, because some of you might think, so I was not declared winner. Let's just go and do other things. The struggle certainly does not stop. And I'll tell you, you're in very good company, because, and I say that in jest, because our president was not declared winner, but we are striving to make sure that gets to happen. So he will speak to you, he will encourage you in that light to see that we keep moving. As you did see, the country has witnessed, one of the steps we are taking is to go to court. We have gone to court to petition the results of the 2021 presidential elections. There are several avenues that are available for us in the law, and we want to use all of them. We're not going to leave any stone unturned. And so it's very important that every option is on the table to make sure that this gets to happen. And that's all we'll be talking about, all of this and more. But without further ado, let me invite our team leader, our president, Your Excellency, who is very smart this morning. Please come and address us.
Ulutalo ngaluwedde tuliyambale ngule tuliyambale ngule tuliyambale ngule ulutalo ngaluwedde tuliyambale ngule tulivimba mu Uganda. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown. We shall wear the victor's crown. We shall wear the victor's crown. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown in a new Uganda. People power. Our power. Our power. People power. NUP. Everywhere. Everywhere. NUP. Barara. NUP. Barara. NUP. Kamuli. NUP. Masaka. NUP. Matinde. Somalia, everywhere, even here. Thank you. A very good morning, brothers and sisters. A good morning, sisters and brothers. Very, very, very energized to see you in full strength, but most importantly, with hopeful faces. I thank, of course, our comrades in the media, those that continue to risk covering us, even when we know that it has been consistently made to appear dangerous to cover what we are saying. We thank you. You continue to be the connection between our thoughts and the thoughts of so many other Ugandans here and abroad. We salute you, the mainstream and the freelance media. Now, I want to salute our comrades, those that were not able to go through, those that lost the election, but most importantly, those that were cheated out. I know very many of you were cheated out. And like me, you are standing strong and rejecting the fake results, challenging them in every legal and non-violent manner. We shall continue to discuss more in the absence of the media, but with the media here, ladies and gentlemen, I congratulate you. You know, many of our colleagues actually won. Many of you have all the declaration of results forms confirming that you won. But as you have seen the regime behaving, they did not only do it there, they did it in very many parts of the country. We continue to challenge that, and I can guarantee you that if we don't give up, they will give up. One important thing I want you to know is that giving up is not an option for us. That on the side, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this opportunity to make a final comment on an issue that has been lingering on the minds of the people. Yes, recently I came out and communicated to all of you who are having a big question of what is going to happen next after the blatant falsification of all the results that came out of the 14th January election. Many views, thank you very much, comrade. Many views were coming our way. On one side, many Ugandans were disagreeing with going to court. They argued, and we agreed with them, that the courts of law have for a long time come off as compromised. Even with the rigging of the 2011 election, with everything that the world was seeing, the courts ruled the way they ruled and upheld General Museveni's rigged election, rigged victory. The same thing happened in 2016 as petitioned by Honorable Amama Babas. So there was every argument on their side for us not to go to court. In any case, they argued that we would further be giving a stamp of legitimacy on General Museveni's rule. However, on the other side, other Ugandans were arguing that since we had given the same precedent of believing in the power of the people, but most importantly, putting the truth before their eyes, and also arguing that our biggest weapon has always been exposure. They have so much hope now because there are many more Ugandans that have actually been exposed in the politics of the country. Many more Ugandans have picked interest in the way their country is being run. That is why you are seeing this massive change that is being fought by guns. So, they thought that it's important for us to continue, one, pursuing every last legal option. And therefore, they argued that even though it is clear that our courts of law have been showing signs of fear and compromise, they said, and we agreed with them, that it's important to put our judiciary at a test. Even when we know that General Museveni has historically intimidated the judiciary, as it was noted by the former Chief Justice, Professor Kanyamba, we said that we want to once again, demonstrate ourselves as a group of people who believe in the rule of law, but most importantly, as people who want to put to test every last legal step. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hereby once again announce that we, as a National Unity Platform that I lead, have decided to petition the Supreme Court of Uganda. We yesterday filed our petition, Presidential Election Petition number 1 of 2021. We are taking General Museveni to court. We are taking the NRM to the Supreme Court of Uganda. Note that our hope is in the courts of law. Like we've said, our hope is in the people of Uganda. People power is our power. We mentioned it in the beginning that we knew that Mr. Ryabakama was acting biased, but we decided to put that institution to a test, and everybody was able to see everything. We are yet again putting the judiciary at a test. We want to be remembered as a group of people that pursued every legal challenge, every legal redress to the letter Z. And that is why we are going to the Supreme Court. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to also inform you that we are very, very confident. We are very confident because we were able to gather a substantial amount of declaration of results forms, something that we have not seen in the past. Everything that happened on the campaign trail, everything that is in our petition was actually seen and witnessed by the entire country, if not the entire world. So everything that we are saying, we are not cooking it, or the public is not going to hear it for the first time. They saw it happening, they followed the entire story, and now we are presenting this story to the Supreme Court. And we want to see if our Supreme Court can actually stand on the side of justice. That is the step that we are taking. I want you, ladies and gentlemen, to look at this as part of the entire plan. We told you before that our plan is one, removing a dictator. This plan is going to have many parts and many episodes and many phases, and we are heading to yet another phase of our struggle. We have told you before that much as we are many and young and energetic, we despise violence, and we decided not to use violence. We are going to use non-violence, we are going to use the law, and we are going to remove a dictator. If there's justice in this country, then it is either going to show itself or expose itself in this case. We thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Bide mu Luganda. Mwebale nnyo basebo ne banyabo banamawulire, tubeebaza buli otusinkana olw'okutuwanga omukisa oconnecting ebirowoozo byaffe n'eby'abannayuganda bannaffe abali wano mu Uganda n'ebweru w'eggwanga. Nja kukulisaayo bannaffe mwenna bakandideti baffe abataayitamu olw'ensonga emu oba endala. Manyi bulungi kyabamu temwayitamu kuba mwawangulwa. Manyi bulungi nti abasinga ku mmwe temwayitamu kubanga mwabbibwa. Bangi ku mmwe nzize nsinkana nammwe, abalala ne mundagane ku declaration of results forms zonna, naye ng'oluvannyuma lwa byonna temwalangirirwa. Ekyo nno kye kimu ku biraga obubbi bwonna obwaliwo nga tebwakoma ku mutendera gwa MP nga bwatuuka ne ku level ya president. Naye twabategeeza nti bannaffe bangi baali batubuuza ekiddako, naye ekiddako engeri gye tukijja mu bantu, era twagenda maaso ne twebuuza ku bannaffe bangi nga balowooza nti okugenda mu kooti kuyinza okuba okumala obudde
kubanga mwami Museveni bamanyi nti ekkooti yabawa emirimu bonna abalamuzi, era abalamuzi tebayinza musalira musango ne bw'abanga yali mu bukyamu. Ne bategeeza nti bazze bakiraba kuva ku Dr. Besigye, Amama Mbabazi, emisango gyali girina okusazaamu okulonda okwo naye tebakusazaamu. Ne bategeeza n'okutegeeza nti tujja kubanga wa stamp ya approval oba bakkiriza mwami Museveni n'enkola ye ey'obumenyi bw'amateeka singa tugenda mu kkooti. Naye ate bannaffe abalala ne baleeta endowooza nti newankubadde bamanyi nti ekkooti ebiseera bingi eba teyitengeredde, naye tulina okubeera era ne tulabibwa ng'abantu abakkiririza mu mateeka, newankubadde abo balina okukuuma amateeka omuli poliisi n'ebitongole ebirala baba tebagakuumye. Ne batujjukiza nti twagenda mu kulonda nga tumanyi nti mwami Byabakama gwe tumanyi clearly nti mukozi wa Museveni yali asala ogw'okulonda. Naye ne tugenda mu kulonda kubanga obwesigwa bwaffe tebwali mu mwami Byabakama, naye nga buli mu maaso g'abantu. Wadde mwami Byabakama alina bye yayogera, bannayuganda balina kye baalaba era balina kye bamanyi. N'olw'ensonga eyo ne bateesa era ne tukkaanya nabo nti kiba kikulu ffe nga bakkiriza mu mateeka okumalayo buli mutendera ogw'amateeka. Tufunemu ebintu bibiri: ekkooti esazeemu okulonda kuno ne mwami Museveni bamuwere okwesimbawo bwe banga ekkooti ebala amazima. Ebyo by'ebimu ku bye tusabye ekkooti, era nga tumanyi nti ekkooti bw'eba esala amazima ejja kusala amazima ago nga bwe kyakolebwa e Kenya juzi, nga bwe kyakolebwa e Malawi ku juzi, si gwe mulundi ogenda okuba nga gusoose. Naye ate ng'era tumanyi nti ekkooti bw'eteesala mazima ng'abangi bwe bayinza okulowooza, kibeere nga kiri ku yo, kubanga omulundi ogusoose bannayuganda bagoberera buli ekigenda mu maaso ekitabaddeyo bulijjo. Kwe kusalawo bassebo ne bannyabo nti tutwale omusango mu kkooti ensukkulumu eya Uganda, era tubategeeza nti twawaabye omusango olunaku lwajjo nga mu nnaku 40 ekkooti erina okutegeeza abannayuganda kyesazeewo. Kino tukikoze kuba tulina obukakafu bungi nnyo nnyo nnyo, tulina evidence nyingi nnyo 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 nnyo. Buli kimu kye twataddewo bwe kuba kugoberera amazima, tusuubira ekkooti enkulu okusazaamu okulonda kuno. Era ekkooti bw'eneba tegoberedde ekyo, tugitadde mu maaso g'abantu. Bannayuganda bagenda kuba bagyolese amaaso nga bwe gwatunulira mwami Byabakama, era ebigezo ebyo n'abigwa. Ekkooti nayo eri ku kigezo mu maaso g'abannayuganda okulaga oba ekolera abannayuganda oba esala amazima na bwenkanya oba ekolera mwami Museveni. Tulowooza nti kikulu nnyo okubayita abassebo ne bannyabo ne tukibategeeza ekyo. And now maybe we'll take some questions, but I'll also want, before we take questions, to invite our Secretary General to add a thing or two about our court case. Please.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, for inviting me. People power. Our power. Our power. People power. NUP. Everywhere. Everywhere. NUP. Thank you so much, members of the press, and of course our comrades who are here. You are honorable members, and we will always call you that. We of course appreciate you for taking the step to stand and represent NUP. One of the most difficult things these past months has been being a candidate on NUP ticket, because the challenges which these comrades have gone through are enormous. Some of them were arrested on the campaign trail, others were battered, others, some of their supporters were actually murdered. So there are many challenges they went through, and we are very happy that they are here today with us to share with us some of those experiences, but also to see what will happen moving forward. I think our president has talked about most of the things the question that has been on many people's minds is, why are you going to these courts of law, which many people seem not to have trust in? And for us, we are believers in hope. Even when the situation seems very, very hopeless, we still hope. So we believe that not all hope is lost. And we want, like the President said, to exhaust all possible avenues, legal avenues. Because these people, as you have seen, want to push us into violence. Those of you who might be aware, over 3,000 of our supporters countrywide are detained. These are civilians. You saw yesterday people were brought to the military court for wearing red berets. Others were not even found with a red beret or anything like that. The state claimed that our comrade Nubian Lee, Edimutu, and others were at Chitaria. All of them, they were found with, I think, 4 magazines or whatever.
1 and 4 rounds of ammunition.
Yes, 1 magazine and some 4 bullets. All these 49 of them. You can imagine. And they've had to spend all this time, over a month now, under detention, illegally. And some of you in the media, and we really appreciate you for running these stories of our people who have been kidnapped in different parts of this country. How can you call this an election? Where people, all our polling agents in many areas were just arrested and detained. Some of them are still in detention right now. These guys have been doing operations, capturing people with DR forms and taking them away, causing them to disappear. We got information that some operatives are moving around in different districts, asking people to fill new DR forms. You can imagine, in Lango and other areas, they bring a new DR form and say, please sign it, and then of course they give different kinds of results on those DR forms. So these things, we sat down. It was a very big decision to make for us, because we want to listen to the people, and many people are saying, maybe we shouldn't go to these courts. But then we said that all this evidence which we have, which is overwhelming, we must have a place where we are going to present it and leave it to the court to decide to stand with the people, to stand for what it is meant to stand for, or otherwise. So that is why eventually we decided to go to the Supreme Court of this country. The people who sit there are called honorable justices, and we hope that they will live to their expectation, of course based on what we will be able to submit before them. So I want to add my voice to those who have been condemning, in the strongest terms possible, state operatives who continue to arrest our people. These drones which keep moving around and picking our people and taking them, it is very unfortunate. And we're using all avenues, both domestic and international. We are invoking the United Nations Convention on Enforced Disappearances. We are trying to use all avenues. As you know, we filed already a case at the ICC and many others, because you cannot live in a country where citizens are just picked up at night. We used to study about Pandagari when we were growing up, and now what we're seeing is worse. Our brother Devi, he was here, he just picked at night, beaten up and taken away, kept for several days before he could be released. And many others, people who associate with us in every way, are just rounded up and taken away. The president will tell you he's being trailed everywhere, and many of our leaders, the state of intimidation that we go through, Comrade Joel and others, unknown people coming to our homes and trying to ask questions and that kind of thing. So that state of fear that we are living under, all dictatorships have tried to do this, but we are not intimidated, and that's the message that we need to give them. We know why we came into this, and why we came into this is to change our country and make sure that we see a new Uganda. Dictators world over can delay change, but they can never stop change. And I can tell you, I have all the confidence, especially after this election, and seeing how Ugandans came out in large numbers. Although Mr. Wakama and his electoral commission have tried to say that the voter turnout was low, of course that's a fraud, that's a lie. You all saw what was happening. People came out in unprecedented numbers to vote for change. And those people are still there. We believe that those people are going to cause change in this country. What we have emphasized is that we want to use lawful means and non-violent means. We know that the state has tried all sorts of things, and you've seen the narrative start coming up. They say, oh, you are training rebels, you're doing it, you have a terror cell, terror groups and all that. That's what they've done. You remember when Dr. Vesti came up, the FDC, they came up and said that he was training rebels and got all his people and put them in the court martial. The same thing they are doing today to us. But none of that will save them from the inevitable fall. That's what I wanted to add, comrades, and I wish you all the best. There's a deputy president in charge of Western Uganda who will speak all my Nyankore.
No, Luganda, a little bit in Luganda.
Ah.
Yeah. About the DRA forms, the issue of the new DRA forms in Luganda.
Okay.
Yes.
Bade njogera ku nsonga ez'enjawulo naye okusingira ddala okwongereza ku ebigambo president waffe owekitiibwa Honorable Kyagulanyi Sentamu byayogedde. Ayogedde ku nsonga lwaki twagenda mu kooti era nga nangezako kikatiriza nti akalulu bwe kagwa ate tetwagala nnyo kayita kalulu kubanga luno lwali lutalo tekali kalulu. Akalulu kaba kategeeza nti kalina okubeera ka bwenkanya, kalina okubeeramu amazima, tulina okubeera n'obwerufu. Kati wetwogerera internet bagijjako abamawulire ne babatiisatiisa abaali balina okujja nga ba observer aba America, aba Europe n'abalala babalemesa okujja wano okulaba ebigenda mu maaso. Kyali kitegeeza nti bali bamanyi kye bagenda kukola era muze mulaba obutambi obuvaayo. Ku makya kuno nalabye akatambi nga bajjayo ba agents baffe aba police n'amagye nga bajjako nga basuula eri. Era abangi nnyo okwola olunaku baali batukubira ba agenti baffe nga babagoba ku polling stations. Naye ekisingira ddala byonna bye bali mu kukola tebigenda bawona kubanga ffe tuli ku mulamwa gwakujjako nakyemalira ate tugenda mujjako. Tuwabye guno omusango kubanga tulina essuubi. Waliwo ebiseera bobeeraawo nga abantu baweddemu essuubi, baweddemu amaanyi, naye ffe kye tugamba bannayuganda bonna babeere n'essuubi kubanga n'amawanga amalala nga Malawi bwe baali batwala omusango mu kooti abantu baali baweddemu amaanyi nga bagamba lwaki mugenda mu kooti zino. E Kenya kyekimu nga abantu baweddemu amaanyi tebasobola kukkiriza ndi waliwo kooti wano ku lukalu lwa Africa esobola okusazamu ki akalulu. N'olwekyo naffe tuyimiridde ku ssuubi eryo etugamba bannayuganda bakola omulimu gwabwe ne balonda. Akakiiko k'ebyokulonda ne kakola bye kakola nga kayambiddwako amagye n'abalala. Kakati ne tugamba ne kootsi katuziwe chansi zikole omulimu gwazo oba ziremererwe okukola omulimu ssemateeka bwe ziwa. Kati bagenda mu maaso n'otutiisatiisa nga bwe mulabye abantu baffe abasuka mu 3,000 bali mu makomera ag'enjawulo era tubasabye bannange enamba gye tubasindikidde esimu musindike amanya g'abantu abo kubanga abamu tetubamanyi naye tulina abantu abasuka mu 3,000 be bakakwata mu bitundu by'enjawulo by'eggwanga nga babasiba. Ssemateeka wa Uganda alagira nti bwe bakwata mu ssaawa 48 olina okuba nga batwaliddwa mu kooti. Naye abamu bamazeyo emyezi n'emyezi. Osanga ng'abantu baffe abamu ekitalya babaddeyo tebayise na mu kooti okubatwala kitalya, abamu bali ku police stations, abalala bali mu safe houses n'ebirala bwe bityo. Waliwo n'okutiisibwatiisibwa bakulembeze bannaffe bagenda mu maaso n'okufuna omukulembeze waffe nga bumanyi poliisi emutambulirako n'aba operatives abalala naffe omwogezi waffe n'abalala genda kwesanga ewaka abantu abatamanyikiddwa bajja ne babuuza ne batandika okubuuliza bino nebiri. N'olwekyo bagezaako tutiisatiisa mpozi n'ekirala bagenda mu maaso n'okucupula DRA forms mu bitundu ebyenjawulo. Bagendayo abantu baffe baali ba agent ne batuukirira ne bagamba kati sayininga DRA form endala. Jjukira bakwata DRA forms zaffe zisuuka mu 1,000 otwogerera bakwata abantu 5 be bakwata ne bajjako DRA forms baali bazikunganyiza nga bazireeta. Era bw'olaba emisango gye babateekako nga gyakusekererwa oli bamukwata ne DRA forms ne bamucharginga ne threatening violence ne bamutta. Abalala tebabacharginga n'obacharginga bazibajjako obujje ne babaleka ne bagenda. Abalala te bakyaliyo otwogerera nga bakyabakutte ku ssaawa zino. Naye ffe kye tugamba bannayuganda mubeere bagumu, luno olutalo lugenda kuggwa, Mukama ali naffe ate tuyimiridde ku sayidi amazima. Mwebale nnyo.
Gambi nachemalira genda mujjako oluganda oyo. Okay, we are going to take a few questions and then we'll soon enough finish our interaction with the media, and then we'll have a chance to interact with our colleagues. But please ask your question, sir.
Okay. Ekibuuzo kyange kankibuuzo Uganda kigenda eri president nina ebibuuzo bibiri. Ekibuuzo ekisooka olunaku lw'eggulo bannakibiina kya Nuupu abakwatibwa e Kalangala baleeteddwa mu kkooti y'amagye e Makindi era ne batabulwa mu kusagulibwa bbeeyi. Kino kitegeeza ki gye muli era abantu mubagumye mutya ku mbeera egenda mu maaso ng'ate ne tuwamba abantu tukyagenda mu maaso? Ekibuuzo kyange ekyokubiri pulezidenti, waliwo embeera ebaluseewo kati kuggwe n'omukutu gw'ebyempuliziganya ogwa NBS TV. Abamu batandise n'okuteekawo embeera nti kati mulabika mwaggulawo olutalo oba waggulawo olutalo gye bali. Kati ate olw'obuwagizi bw'olina eri abantu ne weesanga kati NBS etandise kufuuka kyennyabwamba nti n'abamu ku bakozi ba NTV manya NBS gye baba batambulidde nga balipoota baagala nabbakuba n'oteekawo ki embeera okulaba nti omuliro ogwo gukkakkana? Ebibuuzo bibiri ebyo.
Nze batte nkolera BBS ensonga nina ntono esooka ejjagenda ewa Mr. President. Nakubiddeko ng'agamba nti kooti ne bwe nga tesaze mazima nga bw'ogamba nti isi ekigezo kye wagiwa kyagiremu teyakiyita n'ogamba nti era waliwo obubadde obulala bungi bw'osobola okukozesa okusobola okuba nga onunula obuwanguzi bwo. Nsaba oklarifyingako ku ekyo. Then Secretary General Mr. Lewis Rubongoya ogambye nti olw'ebyo ebigenda mu maaso nga mmwe abakulembeze mu NUP mutisibwatisibwa mu kaseera kano n'abamu ku mmwe mutandise okufuna abantu abajja ewaka wammwe nga bagezaako okubega. N'ekyo nsaba otubuulireko muli bameka sofa abafunye ku bubaka obutiisatiisa era mubufuna mutya ng'oggyeko omuntu okuba nga ajja. Mpozi nja kusaba Council wa Mary, waliwo enteekateeka bannamateeka ba National Unity Platform gye mwalina ey'okulaba nti mukyalenjinga ekyokuba nti abawagizi bammwe abakwatibwa e Kalangala babavunaana mu kkooti y'amagye ng'ate ba civilian. Ne wabawo n'ensonga endala ey'okuba nti mwalina okunoonya abantu abangi abazze bakwatibwa nga n'okusinga ba National Unity Platform oba nga bakulembeze ku mitendera gya wansi mu bitundu by'eggwanga lyonna. Enteekateeka yeetuuse wandooza bajja tugatirako n'ennamba y'essimu eteereddwawo eri abantu mu bitundu bya Uganda eby'enjawulo okuba nti bayisaako amannya g'abo abaabwe ababuziddwawo.
My name is Charles Murachi from CBS. Two questions. One, we are seeing the vehicles which were impounded from in Kalangala. They are back here. Could we know the procedures we went through to require these cars? Because the people who were arrested in those cars are still in prison. Then two, some fair opposition political parties like yours have already come out.
Someone?
Some opposition political parties have already come out to show solidarity and support to the NUP in the case we took to court. Could we know that kind of support, or have you been informed about that support? Thank you.
Nze ekifaananyi njagala kyamanya nze mubiro ali kuva ku Pala FM. Kyange nsaba Pulezidenti akkaatirize ensonga y'okulonda okwenkya. Abantu basinga baweddemu amaanyi ate waliyo ebifo ebimu ebyesimbiddwako abantu bagamba ne bwe tulonda balangirira balala batawangudde. Pulezidenti akkaatirize nti okulonda kuno kwa mugaso nnyo.
Mulangira Moses KTV. Nze kyange kya President waliwo
amaloboozi agali mu bantu ebintu ebigenda okubeerawo enkya ekiyinza okuloboozebwa nti NUP ekirimu so mbadde njagala atubuulireko ku maloboozi ago.
Yes, Chitimbo.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Senyini, mine is about, my name is Chitimbo, I work with NBS. Mine is about, yeah, the NBS. Thank you. Yeah. My question is about the petition that was put in yesterday. What if court maybe doesn't accept this petition so that the case goes on in court? Is there any way forward?
What if court doesn't accept it?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I don't understand what you mean because they already...
Okay, what if it dismisses the petition? That's what I'm saying. Then the other thing is about the voice note that is moving on social media that is saying on Wednesday everyone should stay at home. And they are tagging it to the National Unity Platform. Any say about that? The other question was asked by Wejire. I think it will be addressed.
Yes, Sita wa Uganda. Mr. Speaker, enamba gye baataddewo abantu nga bongera okuwambibwa drone era nga ne panda gaali yakomyewo. Enamba gye baataddewo bagambye ya WhatsApp. Naye abantu batutuukiridde naddala abakyala okuva ekyotero bamwe abalabyeko batukubira amasimu bagamba ennamba tebasobola kuweerezaako bifaananyi kuba bo tebali ku WhatsApp. Mu kaseera ke kamu offisi nzigale so babadde babuuza oba waliwo offisi enzigule oba ngeza MP w'Ekyaddondo East nga basobola okutuukirayo ne bateekayo ebifaananyi by'abantu baabwe abaabuzibwawo. Ensonga endala ey'okubiri mbadde mbuuza ku mmotoka ezo zaalimu ebintu abya pulezidenti ne ttiimu ye ng'amasimu ne gadgets endala. Twawuliddeko ku TV twabirabyeko nti tebyalimu so tubadde twagala nakyo bakitukakaseeko.
Jajja tubulire ennaku omulumu gyagitukalabizaawa but also phone numbers ava mukomera
nga tetunnagenda mu kulonda waliwo omusango gw'okuwawaabira Tibuhaburwa okubeera nti nno empapula ze naye akakiiko k'ebyokulonda kazirage nga bwe kaalaga eza Honorable Kyagulanyi Sentamu Robert. Ekyo nno twagenda mu kulonda mu kalulu ng'empapula ezo akakiiko k'ebyokulonda tekannaba kuzijjayo. Ekyo si kyekimu ku misango gye mwandiwaabye mwaguwaabye oba kubanga tukimanyi Mwami Museveni bwe yali ajja mu buyinza yajja na mmundu tewaali mpapula. So ogwo omusango gwakomawa era tusuubire okwongera okubeera nga bwe guli mu kkooti era
My name is Bakar Rwa. I work with the Daily Monitor. Mine is about the petition. How is NUP working with other political parties concerning the petition? Because we believe some parties may not be going to court, but they might have some evidence. So how is NUP working with those political parties? And have some of the parties contacted you for any assistance, like some might have some DR forms that they might want to pass over to you? Thank you.
Liam Taylor from The Economist. It's about the missing people and the abductions. I've previously heard you say that there are more than 3,000 people who have been taken, but I guess that includes people who have been arrested and you know where they are. I'm wondering if you have a number for how many people have been abducted and are missing, that specific number, if you have that. And also, just to follow up on that, most of the news reports about abductions have been within Kampala and in the Buganda region. Are you aware of hotspots where abductions have been happening beyond Central Region?
That question I think will be answered by them, partly because I
think two final questions. Yes. Joe, James, Colonel Radio Scene. Njagala kumanya muyina plan ky'okuddamu okuaccessinga ekitebe kyammwe. Then ekirala mwali mutaddewo ogundi human rights desk okuregistering abantu abaali bazze nga batulugunyizibwa. So far muyinawo namba ki gye muyinawo abantu bemuze nga mu registering? Thank you.
Okay.
Nayanza nnyo ekibuuzo kyange kigenda eri President. My name is Frank. I work with Olujjuliro TV. Mr. President, gye buvuddeko wali oyogerako ne bannamawulire n'otutegeeza nga ekibiina bwe kigenda okutwala ekibaluwa kye bakuntumye eri mu kkooti enkulu nga tutangira President Tibuhaburwa okuddamu okufuluma eggwanga. Abantu beebuuza nti ekyo kituuseewa, ekibaluwa kyafuluma era process etuuseewa. Nayanza nnyo.
Okay, I think let's deal with these questions that have come through. There are very many. I'm going to attempt about 2 or so questions. Then, of course, many were directed at our President, but some specifically for the SG. Mr. Abu has asked a question similar to one of those that were asked by Charles. How is NEP working with other parties regarding the petition? As you did see, just before the election, we connected with the other forces of change, and the idea was, yes, we might belong to different political entities, different colors, but the goal is the same. We all want change, and you did see us saying we want to have a platform where we can jointly safeguard the election. And there's a couple of things that we were able to do together. Now that relationship that we began was not just for before or during the election, even post-election. And so we are in touch with these colleagues, and so a number of them have expressed willingness. Actually, some have already given us DR forms because, as you know, police is still holding on to, and the military, they're still holding on to many of our DR forms. So our colleagues are availing some of these, but also a number of them have sworn affidavits, chronicling what happened, where they were, what they saw, the fraud, etc., etc. So we are very much working in unison as the forces of change because our goal is ultimately the same. Charles also asked about the impounded the impounded cars. Let's do elucidate some more. But just how they were brought back, they were But more seriously, our insistence has been that one, the people that were arrested in Kalangala committed no offense whatsoever, including everything that they had with them, the cars, etc., etc. These were people that were part of the campaign team of a legally registered and nominated presidential candidate. He's entitled to have a team to go out with, you know. Some were actually part of our medical team, nurses and so on. Of course, the security team, some journalists, freelance and otherwise. So these people committed no offense as far as we are concerned. And that's why eventually they were granted bail, but of course the state wanted to keep holding on to them, so they trumped up these charges, and now they are in the court-martial. Our insistence is they're innocent, okay? These cars are not going to commit an offense. Little wonder they are back here. And again, we are hoping that everything that was taken that was in the cars gets to be released. You did see our Vice President in charge of Central Region, Robin Puga, to whom the cars were handed over, you know, clearly stating a number of things that were missing. So there are phones that are still missing, bags and other property. These things we are hoping will be availed to the rightful owners. But we don't want it to stop at the cars. The cars have been brought back. But the people who were in the cars are still being held by the state illegally. We are saying these people are innocent, they have committed no offense. Okay? For heaven's sake, wanting change, siding with one presidential candidate who is not the incumbent is not a crime, like Mr. Tibuhaburwa is trying to make it seem. So we insist that they are innocent, and we are hoping, like the cars were let go, these people should be released. I'll finally attempt to Timbo's questions, and then the harder ones, of course, were president. The Baganda say, for me, I'll deal with these small ones, and Mr. President, you know. Chitimbo asked,
What if court dismisses the petition? Our SG has really elaborately talked about that. You know, we are going to court as one of the avenues, legally provided for avenues for us to challenge the fraud that this election was. Some people did ask us, so why are you going into an election yet the Electoral Commission is constituted by Mr. Tibuhaburra? We said we must do everything possible to keep fighting until we attain freedom. And so this is another of those avenues. We are going to court. Yes, we know what we court. This same court has ruled in the past, but we are saying the fight must continue. Look, when South Africans were fighting against apartheid, apartheid was provided for within the law. Illegal, draconian, backward, antiquated as it was etched within their laws. But they said we must keep fighting. And that's what we're doing. You know, when blacks were fighting against slave trade in Europe and the West generally, it was etched within their laws. It was law, legally acceptable. But they said no, even though it's legally acceptable, we shall fight it. They fought it in court, they fought it in parliament, they fought it using every legal avenues until they eventually won. So we are saying we must keep fighting, using every means available within the law. The question of staying at home, so many of you reached out to me in the media yesterday and saying, so here, you people are saying people should stay at home starting Wednesday. And I said, where did this come from? When did you hear any of us, the leaders, tell people that now on Wednesday you're going to stay at home? Actually, tomorrow we don't want them to stay home. We want them to come out and vote, because there's still elections going on, you know, and our president will reiterate that. There's still elections going on. We still urge our people to come out and vote for our flag bearers. The rumor that has been going around, you know, that yes, NUP is planning violence and all of that. Our thought actually is that all of this is being planned by police, the military, and the state for that matter. I mean, they're very capable of these things. If they can get guns and plant them and trump up charges, you know, they did that previously for our president. They are now doing that for Nubian Lee Edimutwe and several others. They're very capable of this. You did see Mr. Tibuhaburra, who conceded that Zebra was murdered by his very own people. And you saw the whole narrative about Zebra. We understand he had been asked, yes, so Zebra, get your fellow boxers, go to the streets, cause chaos. Start a fight, cause chaos, and so on. Then with the police, we come in and we target the NUP supporters. It's all out there. So when Zebra refused to do that, they took him out, they murdered him. So this, we believe very strongly, is a plan by the police, the military, and the state generally. We don't want to be part of this drama. We have communicated to the country what we are going to do. Whatever we want to do, we communicate. We have gone to court, we have communicated that very clearly. Everything that we want to do, we shall communicate. Because for us, we have insistently said, we are going to do everything provided for within the law. So whichever step we shall take, whichever action we are to take, we shall let the country know. So what we have not told the country, please don't impose it on us. Let those who are planning it, and we believe it is police and the military, let them explain themselves, because it's not the first time that they try all of this. Finally, and then Mr. President will come. Well, Chitimbo hinted on this, but the President will elucidate a lot more on this. In fact, I'll leave it for him, the question of NBS. But just so you know, we don't have beef with, we're not saying whoever has a tag NBS, whoever works with NBS is our enemy and so on. No, we're always with you people. We don't have a problem with you. But it's important that feedback is given to a media house. Now, does that mean that everybody from the gate man at that media house to everybody is part of the problem? You'll find that even the colleagues that we are usually with in the field from NBS probably have no idea. It's probably a small clip, whatever. But ours was to say, let's give feedback. Media houses receive feedback. You receive feedback from your viewers. You know, they tell you, no, this show we don't like, or this show it's happening too late or too early or whatever. Feedback is important. So this is feedback that we are giving as stakeholders. And our team leader will elucidate. Very quickly, Muluganda, because I know you will say that now, Muluganda. Abu yabuziza nti kakati nga NUP muli mukolagana mutya ne bannankyukakyuka bannammwe musango guno. Nja kubajjukiza nti bwe twali tugenda mu kalulu twabayita nga bannamawulire
nga tulina bannaffe bannankyukakyuka bannaffe aba FTC n'ebibiina ebirala ANT, era nga tugamba nti tugenda mu kalulu weewaawo tuli babiina byanjawulo, buli kibiina kirina presidential candidate, naye tuli baaluganda, ffenna tuli bannankyukakyuka, twagala nkyukakyuka, ne tugamba nti akalulu tujja kagendamu era tujja kukola ekisoboka kyonna okukakuma awamu. So bannaffe tukyali nabo era tuwayizaamuko nabo. Abamu batandise dda n'otuwa DR forms kubanga nga bwe tuze tubabuulira poliisi n'amagye bakyalemedde DR forms zaffe ezimu ze baawamba nga bakutte ba agenti baffe abaali bazirina. So bannaffe bannankyukakyuka bannaffe batandise otuwa ku DR form ze balina bo n'okutuwa ku bujulizi obulala. So tukolaganira wamu kubanga nabo baagala nkyukakyuka ngaffe bwe twagala enkyukakyuka. Era wabuuziza ku nsonga eya no, this was Chelsea's impounding vehicles ze bakomezaawo. Emmotoka tuli basanyufu nti baazitadde kuba ffe tuze tukyogera lunye nti emmotoka zino tezazza musango, abazirimu tebazza musango, bali bagenze ne presidential candidate okukola campaign. Ogwo si musango. Candidate bamuwandiisa alina okugenda campaigninge, alina ttiimu gy'atambula nayo naye baabakwata nga mututte n'abasawo bannansi be yali nabo part of the medical team. So tugamba ng'emmotoka bwe baazitadde kuba tezirina musango, ne bannaffe Banubyandi, Edi Mutwe, Dani Magic n'abalala bonna bateebwe tebalina musango gwonna. Kitimbo, yes, kooti bw'enaagoba omusango munnaffe akyogeddeko SG waffe nti ffe okugenda mu kooti tukyali mu lutalo olujjako nakyemalira, era ffe nga tugamba nti olutalo lwaffe lwa mu mateeka, tujja kukola buli kikkirizibwa mu mateeka okulaba nti nakyemalira tumuggyako. Waliwo abatubuuzanga kakati mugenze mu kalulu, akalulu ani akategese byabakama, ani yamu obuyinza, Museveni, kati lwaki mugendayo? Tugamba tujja kugendayo kubanga it is part of the struggle, lutalo. So n'okugenda mu kooti, yes, tumanyi kooti emisango gino gyasalawo gitya ensonda envanyuma, naye tugamba nti olutalo olwo lukyagenda mu maaso paka nga nakyemalira akuddeko, tujja kukola ekisoboka kyonna tuyita mu mateeka. Era Kitimbo wabuuzizza nti ebiza ebitingana nti abantu basigale ewaka. Ffe tugamba nti nga NUP okusookera ddala buli kye tukola kiri mu mateeka, ate buli kye tukola tukibabuulira bannange, tubayita bannamawulire, kati twabayise ne tubagamba nti tugenze mu kooti. Kati bino ebiyitingana era poliisi byesibyeko nti kakati NUP bagamba abantu temuva wammwe, wagenda kubeerawo simanya olutalo naki. Okusookera ddala ffe tukkiriza nti poliisi n'amagye gavumenti be bapanzepanze bino ebintu era nga balina obusobozi obukikola. Olaba bakwata emmundu ne bagamba kakati eno emmundu ono bwe Kyagulanyi yali agirina nti ba Edi Mutwe bandi bonna be babadde nazo Banubyandi n'abalala ne babijingirira. So ne kino tukkiriza nti poliisi n'amagye be babijingiridde okuteekawo embeera bakwate abantu baffe. Mwami Museveni yabagamba juzi nti Zebra abasirikale be be baamutta. Zebra ono ensonga ze muze muzitegeera. Poliisi n'amagye bamugamba nti kakati kwata box abo mugende ku street mutandike olutalo tubadde okulwana naki ffe tujjewo betukwate betwagala okukwata aba NUP. Zebra bwe yagaana ne bamulyawo ne bamutta. So kati bino byonna poliisi n'amagye be babipanze. Ffe ebyaffe buli kye tukola tubuulira eggwanga nti kino kye tugenda okukola. So be tutwogedde ffe ng'obukulembeze bw'ekibiina bane temubitusibaako. Mwebale nnyo. Let me invite our Secretary General to respond to the question. Maybe the team leader will.
All right, thank you so much, Comrade. I think I'm just going to quickly respond to a few questions that have come to me. One of them is, of course, about our office, being asked where I work from. Ordinarily, this press conference should be at our head office in Kamocha. But as you know, since the 15th day, thereabout, our office has been under siege. Even on the 16th when we went there and did just the final activity we had there, it was already surrounded. And so we've not been able to access our offices. Since that time, we've written protest letters to the Electoral Commission. We've written to the Inspector General of Police. But we know that they also wait for orders from somewhere. And that is what we've seen in this election. Every time you go and meet the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, he seems unsure. He has to wait for whatever, and then you go to these police officers. Yesterday, you saw what happened at the court. It was very clear that the General Court Martial was trying to buy time to probably get instructions elsewhere. So we are going to use all legal avenues, and indeed we are filing a case about the siege at our office. Many of the things, and if you read through the petition that we've taken to the Supreme Court, the lawyers will tell you that a lot of documents which we would have needed to attach at our office. We do not even know if they are still there, because these people have had access to the office. Maybe they might have entered and stolen some of them, like they did with our signatures at some point. So we do not know what is there, but we are going to court to demand that they vacate our office. NUP is a registered political party which is free to operate in this country. So the continued blockade on our office is illegal, is unconstitutional, is uncalled for. But it is a sign of fear. These people fear us. They fear the people. They don't fear us because we are violent. No, they fear us because we represent the people and we represent the values that we stand for. The other person asked about the number. I will repeat it. It's 0701 458 299. If you have any missing person countrywide, please send their names and details to those numbers. Indeed, today I think we've received over 100 people who are sending in their pictures of their relatives. I mean, that's what has been happening everywhere we go. We are bombarded by people who have been coming here at our principal's home to report their missing persons. You can imagine, because there are so many, and maybe that also answers the question about the specific numbers of the missing. It's very difficult to tell when you just hear that, you know, for example, our candidates, some of who are here, and our MPs went through, and other leaders at different levels, we keep telling you, in my place, they took 20 young people last night. They took 40. They took, and so it's very difficult to even know, and that's why we put in place a number on WhatsApp where people can send these details, and our job is to verify whether that information is accurate, and then we take the necessary steps. Of course, you comrades, remember what happened. We started a human rights desk which had started gathering evidence of all these crimes against humanity. And every day they were recording people. I mean, people were coming to our offices in dozens to tell us about their missing persons, about people who had been murdered. And what did they do? They arrested our human rights officer, together with Councillor Nicholas Opio at the time, as you remember, and they took away all the work that they had done, but good enough, some of it was saved. So our human rights desk, even now, should be sitting at our office. It's not been able to do that. That's why we are working virtually through the WhatsApp numbers and other means. Somebody asked about the impounded cars. Of course, these cars, just like the cars which the state has held onto in Arua, are not supposed to be there. First of all, there have been no crimes committed whatsoever. Now, these cars kept in Kalangala, and you see they are messed up. There are many gadgets in there, the phones, laptops, and all that. All those are missing. We don't know where they are at the moment. So we've continued to work through our lawyers to demand that they release the cars. They're here. We're still trying to assess the damage and then to see what will happen after. I think some people are continuously asking this question about what if the courts do not rule in your favor, what will you do? I think our president has answered this question very well. He talked about it. Ours is a struggle for liberation. And in the struggle for liberation, there are very many pieces. There are many stages, there are many pieces. We had a phase where we participated in an election. That phase is now past us, although we are demanding, we are continuing to demand to reclaim our victory. And the first step towards reclaiming that victory, we have said we are going to court. But we have also said that we are going to use all other avenues within the law to reclaim the power of the people of Uganda. If you look at Article 3 of the country's constitution, it gives the right to citizens to use all means to defend the constitution and to make sure that the constitution is not abrogated, illegally violated, and the kinds of things we are seeing. So the going to court is just one of the steps that we are looking at in this struggle. And we encourage all citizens to take interest in this case. Make sure that you follow the proceedings. And those who have evidence, we have also asked them, and we thank all those who have sent all manner of evidence to these numbers that we've been putting out there. Incredible things which happened on the 14th and even after that time. So we continue to encourage you to send in those, and then we know eventually that victory will be on our side. Ofisi yaffe ekyali mu Buwambe abasirikale bagisalako kati okumala weeks nga 2 oba weeks nga 2 tetusobola ku accessing ofisi yaffe Kamwokya. Kyobola batukolera wano byetukola press conference eno yali badde Kamwokya, naye tetusobola kugendayo kubanga abapoliisi bagisurroundinga n'amagye nga kugatwalidde. Era kooti ensukulumu oba Supreme Court tukitegezeza nti obujulizi obumu bwe twali agadde kusindikira ku musango gwe twataddeyo buli mu ofisi yaffe eyo. Waliwo empapula nyingi nnyo eziri omwo, tetumanyi bazikyaliyo kubanga oba oli awo bazibbye n'okuzibba already nga bwe batwala signatures zaffe n'ebirala. Naye ate tugenda mu kooti okuwaaba okulaba nti bavaawo kubanga ekibiina kino kya National Unity Platform kiri registered mu mateeka. Electoral Commission ekimanyi bulungi nnyo nti head office yaffe eri Kamwokya, era tubawandikidde amabaluwa aba Electoral Commission ne police nga tubasaba bave ku office yaffe tusobole okukolerayo emirimu gyaffe, kubanga wano tuli mu maka ga president waffe tetwali badde nga tukolerawo n'emirimu mu ggwanga eriri mu demokrasiya, kubanga tulina ekitebe kyaffe otulina okukolera emirimu gyaffe. Waliwo abasabye enamba gye basindikako naddala abantu baffe ababuziddwako mu bitundu ebyenjawulo. Enamba eri 0701 458 299. Eyo namba osobola okusindikayo ekifaananyi ky'omuntu wo n'amanya ge ne bamukwatira, then bannamateeka baffe ba following up tulabe nti tumanya abantu abo owe bali. Era waliwo omukulu abuuzizza nti mumanya abantu bameka kati abaakabuzibwawo. Ffe estimates zaffe ziraga nti abantu 3000 wano bazze n'ekimotoka ky'amagye ne batwala abantu 2. Wano ekiro bakoze operation ne batwala abantu 3. Abasinga tetumanyi gye bali. Bw'ogenda Kitalya abavaayo buli ava Kitalya kugamba nti abaana aba NUP abali Kitalya bangi nnyo. Babatwala wali ne babalimandinga babakomyawo mu kooti. Bali eyo abamu balwadde, mulabe abazze mu kooti gyo abamu nga tebasaana kutambula nga babasitudde busituzi, eddagala teririiyo, betaaga specialized treatment abamu, naye embeera gye batambuliramu. Era twali tubategeeza nti twateekako desk yaffe ekwata human rights desk eyali awandiisa ebikolobero byonna abasajja bano bakola ku bannansi, naye ate human rights desk eyali agikulira bajja ne bamukwata era ne bamutiisatiisa nga bwe mumanyi. Ekisemberayo ddala babuuza kooti wetasalamu wetakakansolinga kalulu oba wetasalawo bye mwagala mujja kukola ki. Omukulembeze waffe akyogeddeko bulungi nnyo nti ffe eno struggle gye tulimu, ensonga lwaki tukiyita struggle tumanyi nti si event, kubanga oba olwanirira eddembe oyita mu mitendera gya njawulo, naye ffe tuli ready okulaba nti tutuukiriza buli mutindo gwonna. Era tubadde mu kalulu, bannayuganda baavaayo ne balonda mu bungi nnyo, ne balonda change. Gavumenti nekola bye yali ekola, ne bakwata amawulire, ne bakwata ba agenti baffe, ne bastaffinga, ne bakola byonna bye bakola. Kati tugenze mu kooti nga step eddako. Eyo step bweba ezeeko katugiwe chance tulabe. Naye n'ekirala ekyo okugenda mu kooti tekitegeeza nti ebirala byonna abantu bye bakugenda okukola birina okuyimirira, as long as kyonna kyokola kiri mu mateeka. Era ssemateeka waffe bw'oba omutegeera bulungi nnyo, waliwo eddembe ly'abannansi okudifendinga constitution n'okola ebintu ebirala bwe bityo. Kanyanirize president waffe addemu ebibuuzo ebimubuziddwa era asibule abantu abali wano. Mwebale nnyo.
Thank you very much, Secretary General. I'll respond to a few questions But again, let me also take an opportunity to give a comment about our comrades that are in jail in Chitalia and many other known and unknown detention centers. Many of you saw some of our comrades, like our Secretary General said, they could not walk when they came to court. They've lost their rights, their hair has been shaved off. Interestingly, they are being treated even worse than non-Ugandans, because I was informed that while Nubian Lee, Eddie Mutwe and all others were subjected to compulsory hair and beard shaving, even against their will, the non-Ugandans, some of them white and others Indians, are actually remaining with their right to maintain their hair. That is very, very disturbing to see that there is discrimination against our own selves in our own prisons. Also, to add my voice on the call against the ongoing panda guard, the ongoing notorious drone cars that go around picking our people, the same notorious vehicles that picked Selector David from his house, detained him for more than 3 weeks, incognito, and many others. We condemn that. We remind Ugandans that Panda Gari is back. What we used to dread in the stories about the Idi Amin regime are back and worse than they used to be. But we stand firm and we know that we are going to defeat all this evil. Mu Luganda, njagala okugatta eddoboozi lyange ku maloboozi agaalaze okunyolwa olw'abannaffe abali makomera ag'enjawulo agamanyiddwa n'agatamanyiddwa. Lunaku lwajjo bannaffe Nubian Lee, Eddie Mutwe ne ttiimu yonna baleeteddwa mu kooti. Kyanaku tebaaweereddwa mukisa kweyimirirwa. Naate kyanaku nnyo twategeezebwa nti bannaffe omuli Nubian Lee, Eddie Mutwe, Dan Magic n'abalala baabamwako enviiri mu buwaze nga tebeesimidde, ekintu ekimenya amateeka ekityobola eddembe lyabwe ery'obuntu. Ekyongera okwennyamiza nti bwe baali bakaka bannaffe abo okubamwako enviiri n'ebirevu mu buwaze, bannaffe abalala abatali bannayuganda omuli abazungu n'abayindi bo balekerwa eddembe lyabwe, bo tebasalibwako nviiri. Ekyo nno kya nnaku okulaba nti waliwo okusosolegana, waliwo okusosola bannayuganda nga basosolebwa mu nsi yaabwe, nga waliwo eddembe bo lye batasobola kweyagaliramu. N'okwongera eddoboozi lyange mu kuvumirira okubuzaawo abantu okugenda mu maaso nga kukolebwa amagye. Emmotoka kati ezimanyiddwa ennyo nga zi drone ezigenda ziwamba abantu ne babuzibwawo, abamu nga bazuulibwa nga batulugunyiziddwa nnyo, abalala tebaddamu kulabika. Z'emmotoka ze zimu ezajja ne ziwamba Selector Devi ne bamukolako okutulugunya okw'ekika ekyawaggulu. Tukivumirira, tujjukiza bannayuganda mwenna Panda Gari yakomyewo. Bye twasomanga mu butabo oba bye twawuliranga mu mboozi z'abakadde baffe eza Panda Gari kati yakomyewo, era tulina kwerwanako ffe nga bannayuganda okukomya ebikolobero ebifaanana bwe bityo. There was also a question about the letter that I wrote to the NBS TV protesting their biased nature and their compromising nature in reporting about the elections. First and foremost, I want to remind you that that was a protest letter, and in my own analysis and the analysis of my team, that is the most decent, brotherly and human thing that we could do to communicate our dissatisfaction. So I stand by every word in that letter, and I reassert it that we have it as a policy, as a value, to be clear and be assertive whenever anybody is wrong. If we can call General Museveni to order, we can call anybody to order, and we remind all Ugandans that we can and must also be called to order. That is what we believe. When you are wrong, no matter who you are. The Electoral Commission declared that nobody had the right to have a tally center or even to announce results. While everybody else was tallying, we still ask questions why and how NBS TV retained their right to have a tally center, which they communicated all through. But most importantly, how and where did they get those results? They were laying. Those are questions that deserve answers. So we still stand by our opinion that we believe that NBS TV was used to defeat the will of the people of Uganda illegally and unconstitutionally. And we continue to say with all due respect that that was wrong, it is wrong now, and it will be wrong in the future. And we remind them that all our corporate bodies that have been used by dictatorships to defeat the will of the people have many times paid the price of their wrongdoing, soon or later. So we remind you that we wrote that letter in full due respect and with love. We did not call for any protest against NBS TV. We did not call upon, we did not call for any boycott. We did not call for any hatred. We know that very many NBS journalists have suffered the brutality of the regime in the line of duty. We respect them as journalists. We know they have some of the journalists that have held to their journalism values. But again, we assert that the media station was used illegally and wrongly. And the most decent thing they could do is to apologize to Ugandans because they were wrong. Bambuza ekibuuzo ku bbaluwa gye nawandikira TV ya NBS nga mbatuusaako okwemulugunya. Ebbaluwa eyo twagiwandiika mu buntu bulamu, twagiwandiika mu kubawa ekitiibwa, era twagiwandiika mu mukwano. Kubanga tumanyi ne media ezannya ekitundu kinene nnyo kununula abantu n'okubeera n'obukulembeze obulungi. Era twagibawandiikira kubanga eyo ndowooza yaffe era nkola yaffe ey'okugamba omuntu yenna amazima kaabeeraani. Bwe tuba tusobola okugamba Mwami Museveni ne muntu ze amazima ne bwe gaba ganatuleetera obuzibu, tewali gwe tugenda butagamba mazima, buli omu tujja mugamba amazima. Era kye tubadde nga tugamba bannayuganda bonna nti naffe tetuli waggulu w'amateeka era tetuli waggulu wa nnono ffenna gye tukkiririzaamu, era naffe mutugambanga amazima ne bwe tubeera bakyamu, kubanga ekikyamu kibeera kikyamu n'ekituufu kibeera kituufu newankubadde ani aba akikoze. N'olw'ensonga eyo ebbaluwa eyo gye twagiwandiika okulaga obutali bumativu, okulaga okwemulugunya, kubanga akakiiko k'ebyokulonda ffenna twali tumanyi tikaaweera omuntu yenna yenna okugattagatta ebivudde mu kulonda oba okubirangirira. Naye NBS yo yagambanga nti erina political command center era negenda maaso n'okulangirira byagamba nti byava mu kulonda, naye nga tebatutegeezezza wa gye babijje. Tulowooza nti bakozesebwa okugezaako okulaga Mwami Museveni yakulembedde newankubadde kyali kiriya nti awanguddwa buli wamu. Buli munnayuganda kyebuuza oba ffenna baatugaana okugatta oba okulangira ebivudde mu kulonda bo baabijjawa nga be basooka okulangirira nga n'akakiiko k'ebyokulonda tekanalangirira ate ne balangirira ebikyamu. N'olw'ensonga eyo tugenda mu maaso n'okivumirira. Sijja kwerabira gamba nti NBS TV y'emu ku zi TV ezibadde ne bannamawulire abayimiriddewo ne batuusibwako n'obuzibu nga bali mu kukola omulimu gwabwe mu kitiibwa, mu mazima ne mu bwerufu. Tubawanye ekitiibwa bannamawulire abo, naye ne bwe kuba owa munnamawulire ekitiibwa era ng'olaba omulimu amakula gwakola, tekigaana kwogera mazima eri bakama be bwe baba bakoze ekikyamu. N'olw'ensonga eyo mu mwoyo omulungi, mwoyo gw'okuzimba eggwanga, kye twandisuubidde TV yaffe ennungi eya NBS okola kwe kuvayo ne beetondera bannayuganda kubanga kye baakola kyali kikyamu era kyali kya bumenyi bw'amateeka. Naye era twongera obategeeza nti tetubibagamba byonna era tetubikola mu byonna mu mpalana, era tetwawise bantu kubaboola obabbako oba kutuusa ku bakozi ba TV kikyamu, naye twabagambye mazima nga bwe gabeera. Eyo nno y'enkola yaffe era yerina okubeera enkola eya Uganda empya. Mpozi bannange boogedde ne ku bigambo ebibadde bitambuzibwa bitwayise abantu bayimirize emirimu n'ebirala ebifaanana bwe bityo. Ebyo nno nze nasoose kulaba mukyala Naabakoba nga yabyogera. Obwokubiri nazzeemu kulaba Mwami Lokech nga yabyogera. bana bayekera abatufugira ku mudumu gw'emundu njagala mujjukire yebadde nga enkola yaabwe ne mu gyekinaana bayambalanga uniform za gavumenti ne bagenda ne batemula abantu nga baagala okusaawo enjogera. N'olw'ensonga eyo ebyo poliisi byeyogera tusaba bannamawulire mugibuuze ennyonnyole eggwanga mu bujjuvu. Sijja gamba nti abantu kibi okwekalakaasa, nedda. Mu mateeka gaffe abantu baddembe okwekalakaasa, naddala bakola buli kye bakola nga bakikola mu mateeka. So njagala okunga buli muntu ali eyo buli kyokola making sure okikola mu mateeka, making sure ogoberera amateeka. Ate ffe tukkiririza nnyo ne mu nkola y'okukola bye tukola mu ngeri eri non-violent oba etaliimu kulwanagana na kuyiwa musaayi. Nja kwogera ne ku bannaffe abaze batiisibwatiisibwa, abaze bagobererwa. Ffenna basebo ne bannyabo bwe mufuluma kati ssaawa zino mujja gendawo, mujja kusangawo emmotoka enjeru ey'ekika kya premio ng'era erimu omusirikale omu oba babiri, naye nga ku bo kuliko omusirikale gwe bayita muhumuza, nga buli we tuba tugenda agenda atulondoola. Ekyo tekiri ku nze nzekka naye kiri ku bannaffe bonna. Bw'ofuluma kati mujja kulaba emmotoka njeru eriko number plate UBG 490B. Ekyo kiri ku buli muntu yenna gwe tukola naye, naddala abakulembeze ab'oku ntikko ab'ekibiina kya National Unity Platform. I'll say that in English about the threats that all my colleagues are receiving, especially the leadership team of the NUP. When you get out of this gate right now, you'll find a car, a white Premio number UBG 490B with 1 or 2 police officers, but among them is a notorious Muhumuza. These are the ones that train me everywhere I go, and the same happens to all our leadership. But we are not scared. We know they do that not because they are confident, but because they are scared. Finally, I will talk about the election tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is your democratic right, not just a right, it is your duty to go and elect your leaders. So no matter the challenges that we are going through, please turn up and vote. Bad leaders are chosen by voters who do not vote. Please go out and vote. You know what we stand for. By now you know the National Unity Platform has an umbrella as a symbol. So wherever you go, look out for an umbrella as a symbol. But where we don't have candidates, look for change-seeking candidates. Look for candidates that represent you as an individual. You have the power. Kanjogere ku lunaku lw'enkya waliyo okulonda. Njagala okubajjukiza Bannayuganda bannaffe mwenna, newankubadde tuyita mu kusoomozebwa, newankubadde ebiseera si byangu, muveeyo mulonde. Eryo si ddembe lyo just wabula buvunaanyizibwa bwo okulonda, kubanga abakulembeze ababi balondebwa abo abantu abalungi naye nga tebalonze. Kale nno vaayo ogende okulonda. Ffe nga National Unity Platform twongera obbakubiriza nti abakandideti baffe bonna balina akabonero akamanvuuli. So mujja balabira ku kabonero kebanaaba nako akamanvuuli buli wamu. Naye mu bitundu ebirala gye tutalina bakandideti, mulonde bakandideti ababakiikirira, bakandideti basservant, abakozi bamwe abatali babbosi bammwe. Mwewale bakandideti abagenda obbatunda oba bakandideti abakkiririza mu nakyemalira so si mu maanyi g'abantu. Mwe mulina obuyinza, n'olw'ensonga eyo mubukozese kuba nkakasa nti ekyokola mukimanyi. Mwebali nnyo, mwebalire ddala. I will not. Yeah, somebody is asked how far we are with the international petitions, including the petition of the International Criminal Court. Everything is moving on, and we want to show you results as soon as possible. But every legal effort is being pursued, and we know that sooner or later we are removing the dictator. Thank you very much.
Maybe, Honorable, a simple clarification on the point you've just made. which political parties are you working with in the petition? Could we know those political parties and the presidential candidates you are working with in the petition which is before the Supreme Court?
Thank you very much. We are in agreement with all change-seeking forces that this was a sham election. It was rigged, it must be and will be, in fact, is being challenged in the Supreme Court of Uganda. Many of the forces of change, former presidential candidates, citizens, and other change-seeking forces have pledged their support for us. By and by, we shall be revealing those that are practically joining the case, but you have seen the Alliance for National Transformation offering assistance in all ways. The same offer we've gotten from our brothers and sisters from the FDC, and we continue to get support from various former presidential candidates and various political formations. Thank you very much.
Uganda.
Bambuziza ku baani abatwegaseeko mu kutwala omusango guno mu kooti. Nyina essanyu bategeeza nti twakkiriziganya ku nsonga eyo na bonna abasinga obungi abaali beesimbyewo n'abo abayanira enkyukakyuka ebibiina by'obufuzi ne ttiimu ez'enjawulo. Ffenna twakkiriziganya nti kuno okulonda kwali kwa vulugu, kwali akalulu kabbibwa, n'olw'ensonga ffenna twakkiriziganya tuwakanye ebivudde mu kulonda. Era bonna abasinga batusuubiza obuwagizi bwabwe n'obuyambi bwabwe n'okukoleraganira wamu naffe. N'okolaganira wamu naffe mu nsonga eno basebo ne bannyabo. Ndi wasanyu bategeeza nti baganda baffe ne bannyinaffe aba ANT, baganda baffe ne bannyinaffe aba FDC n'abalala bangi batusuubiza okwatagana naffe, era tujja kubeera basanyu okukolagana n'abo bonna abaali beesimbyewo ebibiina by'obufuzi ebiri mu opposition ne bannayuganda mu mitendera gyabwe abantu kinoomu. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala.
People power. Our power. Tugenda ntebe mu ntebe.
Sama betubeere eno.
Semuna mawuli.